Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh, I hope you had a splendid Mother's Day. All you mothers out there. I think we might have like one lady sometimes, but happy Mother's Day. If you identify as a mother, there you go. Congratulations for you. I did a comedy show last night at the casino in Connecticut, Mohegan Sun, and there were a lot of moms in the audience. And I thought that was weird because a lot of them, when I said, "Are there any moms here?" they all cheered, but they were not with anyone else, like kid wise. So like they were just alone as moms on Mother's Day, and there was a contest. So that means that these people went to watch other people's children fail for their Mother's Day, which I think is fun. I think it's good if you think your kid sucks. Like, let me go somewhere else and watch other people's kids suck, except for the ones that moved on and won. I guess you're like, well, those kids are better than my kids. But either way, any way you celebrate your Mother's Day, if you want to give your money to Native Americans who were murdered, kind of. I'm not sure if that's real. I think Native Americans were made up, and that's a conspiracy. But anyway, good morning, everybody. That I have no basis for that. Hope everybody's doing well. You notice Bobby's not here. He will be coming shortly. I don't know what the reasoning is. He just told me that he was struggling a little bit. I think he's sick, or I think it's travels, or maybe because he's small and it's hard for him to walk far. He might be taking a long time to reach the computer. I'm not sure what it is, but Bobby will be on very, very shortly. But anyone that watched Friday with myself on the beginning and then Brandon Smith joining me. Thanks for checking that out. Really appreciate you there. Good morning, Scott, in the chat. How are you today? Well, you're doing a little peace sign thing there. Hope everybody's doing well. My Knicks got their ass kicked. They lost by over 30 the other day, but hopefully they come back. But it doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is that this week, in Connecticut at least, I guess the world will stop on Tuesday as Caitlin Clark. We are the number one WNBA podcast in all the land. Caitlin Clark will be coming to Connecticut and playing at Mohegan Sun against the Connecticut Sun. And they're so excited and fired up for this happening, this event at Mohegan Sun, that the comedy club I perform at is not open on Tuesdays. They will be open Tuesday evening. And for people who won't be able to watch the game because it's sold out, you could watch the game on their big screen simulcast in the comedy club in there. So you could be there close and you can wait and try to meet Caitlin Clark. I really do hope that this does help the WNBA, and I hope that it does build up their business, and I hope it's more opportunities for jobs and women and all that kind of stuff. But it would also be hilarious if this fails. It would be great if, like they say, it's sold out and it was just bought by corporate people because they feel like they need to have the tickets. But when they go, it's just 8 people going, "We like a lady" sometimes, and that's it. And then no one cares. And I can't believe there are that many Indiana Fever fans here in Connecticut or Connecticut Sub fans here in Connecticut combined to fill that place up. I can't. I want to believe it. I hope it is. I've seen all the videos of people saying, like, showing little kids wearing their Indiana Fever jerseys and Caitlin Clark walking over and signing it. But when you look at, you ever see a thing where you feel like it's set up and fake? Like, all the kids, you can see their face, like, who's this lady signing this? Like, mom. And their mom's like, shut up. They paid us $5 each to pretend like you know who this lady is. They might know. I mean, they might, but this is gonna have it's gonna be on ESPN two. Not it didn't make it to regular ESPN, but it's on ESPN two, which usually WNBA games aren't usually on ESPN two or any of those. And they said their production is gonna be at the level of a finals. Now, I don't know if that's a WNBA finals, which means like they use 2 cameras, or like an NBA finals where it's like they really care and there's high production. So, but either way, they're excited. I think we should all figure out a way on here and then maybe talk about it tomorrow morning on the Patreon podcast. What bet we should do for the WNBA first game. Caitlin Clark, maybe we should do a points thing. How many points she scores, an over under or something like that. I know they'll probably set something there, but we could probably make one up when Bobby comes on as well. But maybe we should try to figure out what kind of bet we should, or how many times she gets booed because she is playing in Connecticut. As much as she is now the Michael Jordan, the Jesus, or the Elvis, whatever your favorite god is, I don't know. Whatever, if she comes out, everyone wants to cheer her. They're saying, but she is the opposing team. And last time she was in playing versus anyone in Connecticut, it was the Final Four, and she kind of cheated and acted like an asshole and talked a lot of shit to UConn and knocked them out. So will the true UConn fans be there booing her? Or will they be like, just, we love the WNBA, we love Caitlin Clark, and she's great. But I think the number of times she's booed would be great. I was going to try to get tickets to this, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't want to go see a whole game of that. I wouldn't want to go see the whole game of the beginning of the NBA season. I love the NBA, but the beginning of the season, who gives a shit? It just doesn't matter. I don't want to be at a sporting event where Caitlin Clark comes out that I'm just like, do I just go to the bathroom now? I don't know if I'd care about the other people. And also, every time she doesn't have the ball, I just think it's going to be weird. People are going to be going to this. Half of them are there, maybe not half. 20% are there because they love women's basketball or basketball in general. But like 80% are there because it's an event. And they're probably just there for the sake of saying, I was there when Caitlin Clark played her first WNBA game. And hopefully that is something. Hopefully 10 years from now, someone's like, wow, I have that ticket. It's worth something. And everyone's like, who? Oh, that lady we cared about for like a week? Oh, okay. I don't know what it's going to be, but good luck to Caitlin Clark. Good luck to the Caitlin Clark cats. I guess I don't know anyone else on the team. I don't even know if I could look up the roster. I guess I'd be lying if I even like looked at it and said, oh, I know the rest of Indiana Fever. Is that a disease? Was that a disease? Is that why they're called that? Was there a thing like back in the, how like you would travel the country and go looking for gold, and they would get like all kinds of fevers and stuff, and people would die on the way there. Did people get one in Indiana? Why would you call yourself the Fever? I never understood. Because then they're like, oh, Indiana Fever, catch it, I guess, but like, and I get the play on words, but I don't want to catch any fever. I've never had dance fever. I mean, I've had dance like colds or dance sweats, but never dance fevers. What if I have a roster? Okay, here, the Indiana Fever roster. It's a lot to get to this thing. I won't even know. I'd be very shocked if I knew anyone besides Caitlin Clark. Their head coach is it's a lady, Christina Sides, I guess. And they got a lady named Berger. I guess that'd be a fun jersey to get, the Grace Berger jersey. Oh, and Bobby's joining us now, so he looks all peppy and happy and stuff. So there he is. Hello, sir. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm going to get a Meister Burger jersey.
The Grace Berger, we're going over. Caitlin Clark's first game is Tuesday here in Connecticut. They're at Higginson, and so they're so fired up that for people that couldn't go, it sold out. The comedy club will be having like a simulcast thing there, and so you could like watch that. And then ESPN2's putting the game on. They said they're using finals level cameras. So I was trying to see if we could even knew anyone else, because if Caitlin Clark comes out of the game, will anyone know anybody else in the team? So I'll look at their roster. They've got Grace Berger, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Tamarius Dantes, Temi Fagbini. That might be our new favorite person.
Take off that Fagbini.
Fagbenie. Fagbini.
I mean, there's no other way to say any
other one. Yeah, you could go Fagbini if you want to, but it's Fagbini. Like you could change the beanie, but you can't change the fag. You know what I mean? Like that's there.
Yeah, and what was your father doing to get that last name?
Well, he's not one anymore. He was a Fagbini, not a Fagnowie. You know what I mean? He's
okay.
A bag.
I just meant
they
were wearing him like a beanie.
Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, Katie Lou Samuelson. I don't know if a lady's supposed to have the Lou in the middle. Not anymore. Not in this economy.
Not unless there's a who after it. Cindy Lou Who.
Lictaria Jackson. Victoria. Not Victoria. Victoria Saxton.
I wish I was Victoria.
Lisa. N-A, capital L-Y-S-S-A. Lisa Smith. Lisa Smith. Is that Lisa Smith? Lisa Smith. Celeste Taylor, Christy Wallace, Erica Wheeler. Their coach is Christy Sides. And then they got two assistant coaches that are named Jesse Miller and Paul Miller. Hopefully they're married. That'd be fun if they're just like a married assistant coach couple and they fight over the clipboard and who gets to say stuff. And another one.
It's your turn to draw up the inbounds play.
They've got assistant coach named Karima Christmas Kelly.
Interesting.
There's a couple jerseys I want to get now from the Fever.
Alexi Smith.
By the way, you can find out everyone on this thing. Their developmental coach is Jared Simpson, but it's Jhar. So he's not Jewish. Their performance coach is Dr. Sarah Kessler. The president is Dr. Allison. They got two doctors.
Not my president.
Not mine at all. But so while I was saying about the people watched so far is that maybe by tomorrow we figure out today. Tomorrow we should figure out one bet we should make on the WNBA Fever Sun game. Like how many times she gets booed, how many times just people just punch her.
That one I think is gonna happen more than booing. Even in like away games, I think fans are gonna like her.
I don't know. She knocked UConn out of the Final Four, and she was a real dick about it. This is the one place where they
Oh,
might
I
be
didn't
like,
think about that.
you know
That
what I
might
mean?
be
This
her
is
one.
as much as
Yeah.
she'll get the initial cheer, but then it's like, fuck you, bitch. You were real disrespectful to us. You know,
I
that
wanted
end
to
of that
see.
game.
I would want to see when she's playing Tarasi. I want to get tickets and we'll go fly down and cover the game live.
That cover the game. They'll probably let us like throw out the first ball, or
They'll let us be in the commentary booth. They're like, people with 100 followers on Twitter care about this.
dude, and we both have Fag Beanie jerseys on because she's a Beaver player. We gotta get Fag Beanie jerseys. Do you think they sell one for her?
I think they absolutely do. And if they don't, Timu certainly does.
But if we start asking for it, demand Fag Beanie.
I think the fact that you said it 3 or 4 times, Dominic will take over and know what to do here.
Nice.
Dominic's great at finding Chinese knockoffs.
By the way, speaking of fans of ours and Dominic, and all that, have you had any talk or heard anything from V? Because he was not in the chat on Friday. I checked. There's nothing is blocked or whatever. He should be allowed to get back in as far as I know. But if he can't, I want to know. But I have not. I don't know if anyone's heard from V, but I hope he's not off the face of the earth after my terrible mistake on Wednesday. But so
The guy I thought was V, I reached out to, and he responded with, "Wasn't me."
Oh, so we don't know who V is. Okay, so that's fine. Well, hopefully, maybe it was a spy. Maybe it was somebody just being crazy. But he was fun, and I'm sorry if he's not there anymore. But Bobby, more importantly, how was your weekend? You had a big crazy weekend. How was it?
I mean, it was awesome, man. I got to go to the city of 10,000 lakes,
Yeah.
and a lot of fat people in Minnesota. They move real slow, like really slowly, and it's very irritating. I was
Were you in Minneapolis or St. Paul?
Bloomington. I was at the Mall of America.
Oh, okay. So right outside of everything. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
Too, so, yeah. But I haven't been there in about 25, 30 years, but that mall is monstrous. Did you ride the roller coaster?
So there's not just a roller coaster anymore. Nickelodeon's actually built an indoor amusement park there now. So the answer is no, because I didn't want to be running around Nickelodeon Park by myself.
Oh, because the other one is not. It's just in the middle of like the mall part, and you don't have to be a Nickelodeon person. The old one.
Right, but they literally that where that coaster was, they built an entire amusement park around it now. The center of that mall is an amusement park. Yeah, but there was one night where everybody had left the mall, and I was waiting for Aaron to finish up whatever he was doing inside, and it was completely empty. And all I could think was, if I had a pair of rollerblades right now, I could recreate that Mighty Duck scene. Quack, 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 because they all skate through the mall. But a lot of fun, a lot of great shows. Met some cool comics. Had a good set on 5 of 5, so it was a lot of fun. Thanks to Aaron and House of Comedy.
When did you get back in?
Yesterday at like noon-ish.
Oh, okay, so you had a little time to recover and stuff.
Yeah, we were up at the crack of dawn. Didn't sleep much, but yeah, I'm good, man. How are you? How was your weekend, more importantly?
Oh, it was really good. Were you able to spend any time with your mother on Mother's Day, or at least speak to her at all?
Yeah, I was able to speak to her. My mother pulled the ultimate mom move, which was called me 15 minutes outside of Philadelphia and was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do brunch with your sister. You want to come?" And if you don't know the geography, New York's about an hour and a half from Philadelphia, so it was like that would have been good to know when you were leaving the house.
Maybe she just thought you were on your way.
Well, she fucking learned yesterday, didn't she?
Why wouldn't you just come to your mother at all times?
Well, I mean, she probably enjoyed it more that I stayed away. She was also like, "What'd you get me?" I was like, "My presence in your life. The past 32 years, you're welcome. I'm the reason you get to have this holiday. I was the firstborn. You're welcome."
Well, your dad is.
Part of it.
No.
But without me, if I don't
thrusting and going bummer, like that's it. Like you wouldn't.
Fair, but if I don't come out of the womb, does she get presents?
From the next one, they would try again.
Maybe not. That could be pretty traumatic.
Yeah, I'm the first of 5. I'm the first of 6, and I know that they would definitely. My dad definitely would have just banged other people. Something else would have happened.
Yeah, I mean, you're Irish though. That's just they pop them out like they're goddamn cherry seeds.
Yeah, we are as a lot of people say, the Puerto Rican of Europe, whatever.
I'm not that nice about it.
But yeah, that's the best word I could use right now. But I this weekend I was running around a bunch. Friday had a show in Thomaston, Connecticut. It was at an American Legion Hall. They set up chairs ready for like 100 I think Dion counted 140 folding chairs, and we had 26 people. You know what? They could have calmed down a little bit in the folding chairs. That would have been a little nice if it didn't look like a. And I posted a picture, and a lot of people always close it up until like it's sold out. I didn't. I put a big old one, and I said, "Looks like an AA meeting," because I'm up there. It was like 26 people in it, but they were fun. It was a good show. We had a good time. I got to work on a lot of stuff. I have a new phrase I'm trying to work into as a joke, and so far it's I still got to work with it. But I saw a paint color the other day called Charcoal Heather, so I've been using that as like was she the cousin of N-word Jim and Huck Finn, Charcoal Heather, and like trying to. And so far, people's face like whoa, and trying to figure out how to call someone Charcoal Heather is a good time. But
She was Nancy Drew's Huggy Bear. Nancy Drew would always have to go check out with Charcoal Heather to hear what's going on the streets.
One of the other comics on the show, Giancarlo, he was like, I don't know if you don't have a name for your album yet, but Charcoal Heather would be fantastic if it just said that, because they would think it's like what a paint color, and then like it's not.
No, it's not. It's just you doing a voice.
Oh, I was close. And then Saturday, my nieces got their first communion, and the church that they did it at, it was the church that my dad had me going to when I was growing up. In that area in Derby has changed a lot since when I was growing up to then. And by that, I mean, it's become very Spanish influence. So the church is now pretty Spanish. And so when we went there, it was awesome, because if you know anything about going to like first communions, all the girls wear like the white, almost like a wedding dress, and all the boys wear. When I was a kid, you wore like a blue blazer or a blue tie, and you wore like khakis, whatever. You just dressed nice, like a little kid going to court or something. But when the Latino culture gets involved, dude, these kids looked so dope. All the boys had complete white suits on, white jacket, white shirt, white tie, white pants, white. They looked like tiny scar faces. They looked so freaking cool. They were walking down. It was like a mob. It was gonna happen. These kids looked awesome. It was the best.
I don't know if this was the case for you. Spanish Mass tends to move a little faster too.
Well, this wasn't a Spanish Mass because of the gentrification of communion. So like all the white parents who pretend like they go to church all the time, they don't, and all the white kids that were forced to go to CCD. So it was probably a little more white Spanish. So they had the priest there, but they also had a deacon who was white, kind of like helping him go, don't read the Spanish one, read this one. You can see like whispered to him, not the wrong one, whatever. But it was a little longer than normal Mass because of the amount of kids that had to receive First Communion.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. There's a lot more. I like when you get a non-American priest. They tend to have some different teaching styles or preaching styles. Like we had one from Africa who, if you could understand him, it was always fire and brimstone.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like the gays eat the poo-poo. Like that kind of priest.
We never got the gays eat the poo-poo. We did. My daughter has, of course, my sense of humor, and we're sitting there. You know, she doesn't go to church ever either, so she's sitting next to me. And then the deacon was talking. He goes, just like the Jews, and she goes, hey. And I'm like, don't.
Hell yeah.
Right. She's like, what? She goes, can he say Jews? Like, he can say Jews.
He can say Jews. It turns out they're kind of responsible for why we're here. If they hadn't killed a certain individual, then this whole religion wouldn't have happened.
And then after that, we had a nice little party, and then I had to leave that party and go right to radio. I was on the radio on PLR from 3 to 7. And then on Sunday, my mom lives in North Carolina, and so I wasn't having Mother's Day with her. But my girlfriend's mom, we took her out and went and had some breakfast in the morning, and that was a great time. And then afterwards, I had to go to breakfast, and then so I had to go to comics and host the last comic standing with and by the way, Bobby, do you know how I got there?
You drove, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a big boy now. I'm a big boy pants.
Yeah, buddy. Do you have a car?
I don't own a car yet, but I was able to use a car.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm still broke. When everyone's like, "Do you have a car now?" I'm still poor.
Dude, I was
expecting more poor.
Like a 90s Mustang in that garage by your house that you just haven't touched since you lost your license, just ready to go.
I don't know what happened. I didn't talk to them, but my neighbors, there's a car in my driveway now that only has like the side paneling on it. Like the front bumper and back bumper are both on the ground in front of him. It looks like it got hit every side. It looks like a white woman in a black porn is just beaten up, used, abused. It's all over the driveway. It's insane looking, but I don't know what happened to that. But
I hope one of the nice individuals who helped you get your license back drives past your house and sees that and just goes, Pat, no.
No one thinks I would own anything if they know me well enough. But did that. It was a decent crowd for Mother's Day. I was telling people before the show, when the show first started, that it was kind of funny to see so many women out there when I said, we had like 65, 70 people. And I said, there are any mothers out here? And they're all cheering. When you looked around, they weren't sitting with like people that looked like I could be their kids. And I was just like, oh, you're just here alone to watch other people's kids fail, so you feel better about your kids. So, but good crowd, nice turnout. A surprise, and I'm not saying it to be bad. I mean, he's our friend, but Metal Pete, who had a great set, did not move on in the first round of this, and I thought he had a good chance of going for a little while. He's been really killing it, being out there and stuff. But there was a good competition, and there was, out of the 12 people that were in it, I'd say realistically 7 of them could have moved on. So that's a pretty good, they all had good sets. You know what I mean? One woman, her real name is, I'm not doxing her, just like they told her real name. I don't know what she always goes by on stage, but her name is Patricia Hancock, but she goes by Patricia K, I guess. Super, like right in the middle of the show, like 5 or 6 in, black woman, older, so like the attitude, the sass, the energy, it just changed the room. And then all of a sudden, everyone after her got to go. Now, a friend of mine, funny young comic named Jake Strom, he did move on. This year, what they're doing in the contest, which I kind of like, is they 4 move on, but the top 2 do get cash prize, like $50 each, but they get some money for being just moving on the first round, which is a nice little like incentive, because before, let's say you were really good and you knew you were in a tough round, you could just kind of not go that hard, and then you'd make it in the top 4. But now this pushes you a little more to go crazy, you know what I mean, to make the show a little better, whatever. And also, it's like a thank you. Hey, you kicked ass, you moved on, here's a couple bucks, whatever. So
it covers gas, if nothing else, to get you there.
And the young kid Jake Strom, he was probably one of the newest people in this 12. He's probably been doing it, I think, maybe 2 years now, not even a year and a half. And he was top dog. Him and her got that. And then a guy named Farzine, very funny guy. I don't really know him. And then someone named Mike Toohey. The 4 of them all moved on. But the first comic that went on is a guy who's a local Connecticut guy around here, open mic guy. Doesn't really do a lot of shows, but if you've done these kind of for you, Bobby, you know about it. They take in like over 150 people. So that first round, you do have levels of guys who are working clubs every weekend going against open mic guys. But what I like about that is it's fair because it's a 5-minute set. So these guys who are used to doing 30 minutes, stuff like that, are like, it's tougher for them to get down to that 5. And a young comic who's just doing open mics and just starting to do showcases, all they do is 5. So if they could catch a hot 5 and beat a guy like Pete being out and been doing all that work. You catch a guy like that. But this one kid, Tyler, he's always been in Connecticut, he's like the weirdo guy. It's more like wacky stuff. So he's been known to like, and I'm not trying to shit on Tyler, but Ray definitely is a funnier person. Tyler does too much weird shit. Like, so he was going to go first and Jake was going to go second, and they're back, and Tyler's known to do like some crazy ass shit. And one of the things he's known to do is he takes stools, like a stool or a chair or whatever, anything that's got like a hole in the back, and he puts his head through the whole thing, and then he just wears the stool on his head for his entire set, but never addresses it. He just wears a fucking stool on his head. And then while he does that, he usually either takes his pants completely off and just has boxers, or pulls his pants all the way down to his ankles. And once again, doesn't address that, just stands like that. So when he was getting ready to go up, he was first, so I had to go up, do 10 minutes, warm up the crowd, then I was going to bring him out. And we kind of even like talked about like, hey, maybe save that for the second round, but he's not really going to make it, but like, make it in first.
Save that for the Ryan Broth round.
Right, yeah. Well, Ryan was there for the first round too, so no worries.
No, I meant one he's hosting, so you don't have to deal with
that.
Oh,
he never hosts them, so you have to win it. So anyway, So when I figured he'd be coming out as regular Tyler and do his thing, but as I said, here's your first contestant. They got the crowd all warmed up. Here's Tyler, and he goes by Tyler McRonald. He's like 80 name. He goes McRonald, I guess now. And so as I call him out, he's got a they didn't, the stool they have at comics we had out there, it's wooden and we no room. So like, oh, he can't do the stool thing. He found like a metal stool they use with so he's got his head completely through it, which means that this metal part, I mean, it's a little rounded, but it's on the back of his neck, which can't be comfortable. A stool in his pants and just boxers on with his like white ass legs. And he comes out and does not get, and they're like, yeah, like you said a name, and then they walk out and they kind of go, oh. And like, it wasn't like more cheering. In every comic who walked in the back after they get ready to go on stage, I'd be like, hey, you'll be up in a couple minutes. How do I pronounce your name? The regular host things you do. Hey, if you need a water, it's there. Don't worry, I'll get you up in a minute. They'd all go, how come that guy didn't address the stool on his head? And I was like, it's funny you guys all keep saying that because that's probably what the audience was thinking. Because like, I know he thinks, oh, it's wacky that I don't address it. But that means no one's listening to your words. That means like every young comic out there, I'm not trying to shit on Tyler doing it, but an example, sometimes less is more. We want them to focus on our words. We want them to understand what we're saying. We want to especially if you're not that good, you want your message to be clear. If I'm staring at a stool on your neck and I'm looking at your pants being down and you're doing all goofy shit, I'm not listening to you. I'm thinking, when is this going to tie in? So you're not connecting with me as it is. But when I said to the one lady who ended up moving on and winning, she said all that, and I go, well, what's more important is how many other pieces of furniture has this man practiced with till he realized stools was it? Like, where's the how many other things are on his head? She goes, that man's mom, that poor mom. Well, earlier in the show, we said for Mother's Day, me and Jake were joking with him. And by the way, I have a feeling Jake Strong, who I do like, who moved on. When those two were alone in the back, there's only two people in the back of the green. I have a weird feeling. I said to Jake, I go, what? Tyler did the stool thing. He goes, yeah, I might have suggested it was a good move.
My man, Jake. My man was taking out the competition. I fucking love it.
He's not saying he convinced him, but he did might have gone,
where's your stool, man? You're the stool guy.
You're going to listen to that old-ass Pat Oates? You don't know shit. Put the stool
What,
on
did you win this contest 5 years ago? Come on.
By the way, they brought that up. They brought that up. It was 7 years ago, and I couldn't feel older. Oh, it was bad.
God, I thought it was longer than that, to be honest with you.
But before the show, we're joking around with me and Jake were joking, and Tyler was standing there, and he's like, he was even mentioning then about the stool thing, and I was like, "Well, is your mom here for Mother's Day?" And he goes, "Oh, she's dead." I go, "Because she heard about your act and killed herself," and he's like, "No, I'm just kidding. She's not dead." Or am I kidding? And I'm like, I don't know. I go, "I bet you her
steal my material, you shit."
Right. I even said, so your mom was this stool thing like her advice, but you did it wrong? She's like, no, stool at your feet, rope at your neck. You're not even listening to that one. And then he goes, oh, that's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, you should almost use that instead of the stool. But no. But congrats to everyone who did that and then came back home and now back here podcasting with you, buddy. So it was a fun weekend overall.
I did have one Mother's Day related joke where there was a girl up front. I was like, are you a mother? And she was like, no. I was like, we still got time. I don't know if you heard about Roe v. Wade. We can get this in under the wire.
Gross.
Then I took my hat off and was like, I had a chance till I took my hat off, didn't I? And she was like, yep.
Oh, no, really? What's she looking like?
No. She was.
Or she?
Pat, to be completely honest with you, she got the joke and realized how funny it would be if she said yep. And like the smile on her face when she looked up, like, I get to be a part of this was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's a rude bitch, but okay.
No. It was a great weekend. Everybody was awesome. The club's great. A lot of fun. You got a news story? I got some stories too, just so you know.
Do I have news stories? It's been a long weekend, my friend. I got tons of news stories. But again, I said it before at the beginning, but so Bobby, you know as well. Brandon Smith jumped in on the second half of Friday's show, so he said hi and all that stuff, and also he did a great job jumping in. So everyone that watched that, thank you guys. So
thank you to Brandon for helping me out too.
Yes, he didn't mind at all. So okay, I'll start off. And this one's from our friend Dion. He sent this to me over the weekend, and he said,
"And it shall be Dion."
YouTuber runs over pedestrian while streaming under the influence. So
pedestrian's a piece of shit. Move on. Next story.
A streamer on YouTube broadcasted herself smoking cannabis while driving before running over a pedestrian in Los Angeles. The woman, who goes by VP on the popular video sharing platform, frequently live streams with viewers on Reddit describing her own channel as showcasing consistent drug use and peeing in alleys. How did you not already know about this show, Bobby? This sounds like your kind of show.
I was literally Googling it to add to my must watch now. Peeing in public, smoking weed, and hitting pedestrians. That's all I like to do.
To be fair, I don't think hitting pedestrians is normal. I think that's a highlight. That's like a sweeps week. So
Should become a regular segment. This is drunk driving and killing a man.
However, things took a serious turn after VP hit a pedestrian while driving Los Angeles. The sound of a loud bump heard on stream as the camera rattled. Prior to the hit, she had been smoking cannabis and discussing whether or not she was getting back with an ex-boyfriend. I hope it wasn't the ex-boyfriend.
I would say not for the next 6 to 10 years.
Quickly stopping the car after the accident, VP opened the door to ask the pedestrian whether they were okay before being told in response, "No, what the fuck did you do?" First of all, that pedestrian rules.
Yeah.
"I didn't see her," VP exclaimed, rebuting claims that she wasn't paying attention to the road. "I was looking, I just didn't see you. I'm telling you, I did not see you. Just tell me how I can help." Closing her door once more, the streamer attempted to find a place to pull over and park, telling viewers, "Oh my God, you guys, I don't know what just happened, but it wasn't good." Shortly afterward, she ended the live stream and to try and resolve situations, leaving the chat with some departing words. "All right, guys, there's your content."
What?
Like, even if that is your thought, that's not what you want for the courts later, to have that on camera. However, hours later, VP went live again, leaving viewers shocked to discover she had not been arrested. "It was really scary," she admitted, stating the accident happened due to the sun blinding her and had nothing to do with any drug use or her looking at the chat while driving. "You can go look at the stream. I wasn't even looking at the chat." As the chat filled with questions regarding the hit, VP claimed the police let her go. "I'm blessed because I decided not to be a piece of shit," she said. "The cop literally told me, 'Just so you know, I know how hard that was. Do you know how many hit and runs we have out here?'" What? That's what the cop said? "We're proud of you because you didn't leave."
Jesus Christ.
I know LA's nuts, but holy shit. I guess it is that bad out there where everyone's breaking into homes and looting and everything. We're just happy you stayed to talk to us. Thanks, white lady. Can I be on your fucking stream? Can you pee on me in an alley or whatever?
Yeah, that's what's going on there. Cop wants to get pissed on.
She also alleged the pedestrian that had been hit was fine and that she wasn't worried about being sued due to having insurance. While cannabis is legal in California, driving under the influence of drugs is a crime. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it VP for not paying attention, being high in her car, doing her chat in the car, running over a person, saying what the fuck happened, and then being like, going back on and going, everything's cool, it's fine, this is fun? Is it the cops for not arresting her? Is it the person being hit by the car for like just being like, what the fuck? And then like moving on, obviously. And this woman doesn't even feel like she's going to get sued. Is it all the people that watch these things so religiously that this woman feels like she can't just drive her car somewhere? She literally needs to be on a live stream while all you're doing is driving your fucking car. How is that entertaining? What happened to entertainment? Where entertainment now is just someone in their car driving, hearing a loud bumper moving. Or is it all the people that watch this or anyone to pay attention to it or me even reading it? Because I have a big feeling this is not real. When she yelled out, "Here's your content," very easy in LA to get someone to pretend to be a cop, someone to pretend they got hit by a car, to make a noise, to do that whole thing just for views and all that stuff. Because the outcome, the craziness of it, that's nuts. It's being covered here and it's a story and all that. Well, there's got to be more than we just let you go and we're happy that you didn't run away. You did hit someone with your car. So you're not, if that is true, you're just telling a lot of other influencers they can do crazier shit because they're not going to get in trouble. Because she didn't get in trouble. You just set a precedent. Why didn't she get in trouble? She ran over someone. The cop said, "Just thanks for hanging out." So what's the big deal? So who's the piece of shit in this story? Or is it peeing in an alley?
Probably Caitlyn Jenner, who's sitting at home going, "Fuck, if only I'd been live streaming, I wouldn't have had to have that whole sex change business." Another piece of shit would probably be the woman the streamer, not for hitting the
VP?
pedestrian. Yeah, VP, not for hitting the pedestrian. We've all been there, right? You smoke a little weed, somebody cuts in front of your path, you're talking to your boys online, and then boom, boom, you know. But she not only stayed, she called the cops. You got
I
your
don't
one
think
get
she
out.
called him.
But
I think the person getting hit called him.
either way, you hung around the scene of the crime. Get out of there. If it's fake, I have no issue with it. Like, as long as it's done for entertainment purposes. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real harm, real foul to faking this other than maybe somebody gets injured pretending to be a stuntman. But it's the fact that if this is real, she hung around and allowed the police to question her. Get the fuck out of there. Call your lawyer and let them deal with it.
The police let her. Yeah, she didn't. I don't think she called. No, I know what you're saying. I mean, I know you also are. I don't know why everyone's commending this woman for staying. Like,
Yeah, no, that's my point. Like, get the fuck out of there.
no. Everyone should stay. You shouldn't get the fuck out of there, especially if you're recording it the whole time. It looks way worse because you have full video. You going, oh shit, I hit someone. Are you fucking okay? And then no one should run away from anything anyway. If you hit someone, you should stay there. Whatever. It's your fucking fault. You did your thing. Bobby, as a long-time experienced driver now, it's been like 2 days. You have to be careful on the road. You shouldn't be texting. You shouldn't be streaming. You should do what I do. While you drive your car, just sing Michael Bolton real loud and drive around. That's it. That's all you should be doing at all times. Nothing else, nothing more. But this person, you and her and everyone thinking it's okay, you just told all these young kids that, that if you hang out, you get out of it. Now,
no, run.
but you do get out of it. The cops in LA literally just said, hey, thanks for hanging out. So I think if the cop's goal was to do that, to go, if we say that, this bitch says it on the live stream, maybe less people will stop doing hit and runs because they're morons, and now we can't arrest them. So maybe if that was a tricky move, great. But I think the piece of shit is someone I did not offer up before, and it's the author of this. Because, yes, I don't know who she is. I don't never heard of VP before. I'm probably not going to check her out after. I don't think I care. Bobby, you did not know who VP was before or after. But when we heard
I will be checking her out after. This chick sounds awesome.
But when I read the title, we were both kind of like, all right, that's not bad. Running someone over. Okay, you're high. Okay, whatever. You perked up right away. And we've now mentioned it 10 times when they were like, her content basically is streaming in her car, talking shit, and then peeing in an alley sometimes. The author felt this story didn't have enough in it, running someone over and talking to them, and had to go, how do I get people to stay for the article? Well, peeing in an alley. Why do we care if she pees in an alley? Why is that content? Why would that be written in there? Why is that something she's known for? That bothers me more than her being high and running over their car and being rude about it. That bothers me more than the cops with her. Why is she peeing in an alley? And if she is, why are we getting pee in the alley content? No, if you're gonna pee in the alley, that's one thing, but turn off the camera, pee in the alley. How many alleys does she go by? Is there no bathrooms where she is? What part of LA is she in where it's nothing but alleys? Skid Row? Stop peeing in alleys. This isn't San Francisco. This is LA, goddammit. They're pooping in the streets of San Francisco, quote Dan Brown, but there shouldn't be peeing in the alleys of LA. Go to the bathroom regular style.
No, keep peeing, especially if you're a
No,
woman.
don't keep peeing.
Also,
pee.
Pat,
She should have peed on the person she hit.
Here is the A, yeah, that would have fixed it, made it better. He wouldn't have sued then. B, they had to explain why she was in the car. She was trying to find an alley.
No, she's doing content. She was live streaming.
Yeah. How does every live stream end with her
streaming?
getting
Is that
to the
why
alley?
she does it?
Yeah.
Look, it's a stream, and then regular stream, she's the double VP.
I would hope.
Vaginal P, is that VP?
I can assure you by next Friday, I will have the answers to all of your pertinent questions involving this lovely lady.
Do you think she's gonna move up, be better than Puppy Girl Jenna for you as a person?
No, Puppy Girl Jenna just said sent a picture out the other day how she feels after a haircut, and it was her and a dog. It was awesome.
This lady has kind of like, when I saw just a picture, I thought she might be a trans, but I guess she's not. I guess she's just a lady, but she kind of has a I used to be an Italian boy face.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think you probably find a picture if you look up VP. She's just VP. I'll send you one here. It's in her cam. She got one with her head back, and she's like, oh. But yeah, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of the live streaming people. I like to watch some content, but I don't really watch anyone live really, except like I'll watch all podcasts like that. But like live, I'm too old, I think, to get into that whole world. I know a lot of people I know do enjoy that stuff, but if somebody was just driving in their car, I would turn that off so freaking quick. You know what I mean? Like I could give two shits about someone driving in their car. That's not entertaining to me. And maybe if they were doing like car karaoke or whatever, like James Corden used to do, and it was a celebrity and something. I hate to say it, much of it sounds corny and Morning Zoo like. It is still kind of fun to watch like Post Malone sing a Whitney Houston song with James Corden in a car. You know what I mean? It's a stupid thing, but it's things we've done. You're like, oh, they do it too. They're also morons. But a lady just talking about breaking up with her boyfriend and is she gonna get back with him and then stopping to pee? I don't know if I'd sit there and make that must see TV, must be TV.
I would say if she was going to the boyfriend's house, right? Like we were watching the stream of her on the way to go try to win the guy back or something like that, I'd be more inclined to enjoy it. But just content for content's sake doesn't make sense.
She finds him, he's pooping in an alley because that's how they met. They both just go to the bathroom in an alley.
I didn't see that comment, Pat. That was pretty good.
Well, Coving's a whole different alley, Bobby.
No. That's not in their relationship. They're just strictly.
He's taking a dump. She's peeing. They make eye contact. They're like, "Is this love that I'm feeling?" Like, oh, that's gonorrhea. That's not love. You're gross.
Remember, Pat. One man's gonorrhea is another man's love.
That's the grossest. One man's gonorrhea is another man's love. Know what's true about that sentence? No woman was mentioned in that sentence because no lady, not even this bitch, would be involved in that kind of love. Scott Fitzpatrick, hello, sir. He has a fun little comment. I got caught urinating in an alleyway by my town's first female police officer. She belittled me in front of my friends. I know you meant to write belittled me in front of, but he used mine. Which tells me right away where Scott's head is. Mine is in the alley.
You use that word a lot if your autocorrect switches from me in to mine.
Mine poop.
Yep.
It's my favorite book. Mine poop. Thank you, Scott, by the way. Yeah, she should have belittled you in front of your friends. Not arrest you, but make you go, okay, I'm not doing this again. Look at your stupid penis. Look at you go to a bathroom. Because you're not supposed to be peeing in the alleyways. They make bathrooms all over the place. Yes, maybe LA's like New York where they don't have a lot of public bathrooms. You'll find somewhere to go. There's always somewhere to go. Not the alley. You don't live stream it. It's fucking dumb. I'm sorry you got belittled in front of your friends. I'm sure you're well endowed and awesome, dude. So I'm sorry for your penis loss, whatever it is.
Not what I was expecting from KP, but I am a fan.
VP. KP's Kitchen Patrol.
KP's KP Burke, who also drives around streaming, hitting people, and peeing in alleys.
Yeah. That's Key and Peele, which they might do a funnier version of that someday, hopefully. But Bobby, you got a story?
Sure, Pat. Let me pull up the internet here. Do you want to talk about global climate, or would you rather talk about something else?
Let's do something else. I don't give a fuck about global climate.
Okay. I was just going to blame Canada for sending more wildfires, but I get it. The first person to receive a genetically modified pig kidney transplant has died.
Oh, no.
Rick Slayman.
Would they really put Rick Slayman?
Yeah.
Like we don't understand that Rick could be a thing.
It'd be cool.
Rick's his cool nickname. We don't understand Rick
Where
Slayman.
the hell did they get Rick from?
Or better, who the hell is this Richard Slayman? Someone's like, oh, that's Rick. It's like, yo, what? How'd they get that? Listen, and real quick, I don't want to say, and I'm not going to bash your friend or say anything bad. I just saw a clip the other day of a guy makes all these clips called My Lost Interest, and he makes fun of like Ray DeVito and that little war, whatever. But in a thing where Stevie Lou went on, it was just challenging it. I'm not going to get into details or anything bad, but this was hilarious because Stevie Lou goes, because Ray DeVito was talking about someone named Stephen Lewis and said he didn't know who it is. And Stevie Lou goes, you do realize my is Stephen Lewis, correct? He's like, no. Why would I think that? Your name is Stevie Lou. He's like, you know how your name is Ray DeVito? He's like, yes. He's like, my name's Stephen Lewis. You're friends with me on Facebook. I goes, I don't believe I'm friends with anyone named Stephen Lewis on Facebook. Why would I think your name is Stephen Lewis when you call yourself Stevie Lou? It was like, whoa. How are you?
That's bad.
Dude, there's one, you know who Franklin Sheckler is?
Yeah.
Franklin, listen, he's been mean to me in the past. He's a meme man, but he makes these videos all titled the Institute of Ray DeVito Research. And he just breaks down everything with Ray. And he did one where he made Ray look like a serial killer's background. It's very well done. The guy's mean and evil, but he's brilliant at the same time. So good job. I'm happy he's doing that and not focusing on other people. So good job. Go ahead, Bobby. I'm sorry. I just like the names.
So Richard Rick Slayman, the first human to receive a genetically modified pig kidney transplant, has died almost 2 months after the procedure.
Oh no.
Slayman,
I didn't know they did pig kidneys.
Well, he was the first.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was just hearts with that stuff. I know he was the first, but I didn't even know their kidneys matched. I knew the hearts did. I didn't know the kidneys did.
Well, Pat, he only made it 2 months, so it turns out they may not match.
I know
that's where we're going in this story.
Right, but doctors at least thought it could.
I don't know if they did. The hospital said in a statement Saturday there was no indication that his death was the result of the transplant. The transplant surgeon said he had hoped the transplant would function for at least 2 years. The Mass General Transplant Team is deeply saddened at the sudden passing of Mr. Rick Slayman, read the hospital. Mr. Slayman will forever be seen as a beacon of hope to countless transplant patients worldwide, and we are deeply grateful for his trust and willingness to advance the field of xenotransplantation. I thought we had some xenotransplantation happen down at the border. All right, Pat.
That does sound like the guy who's in like the head slave at the plantation. It's me, Zeno, at the plantation. The Zeno plantation. We're here. We're cleaning up. We got all the cotton you need, baby.
The good news is the next paragraph of the article explains that the surgery was a milestone for the field of xenotransplantation, the transplant of organs from one species to another.
Oh.
The effort to genetically modify animal organs is in hopes that the human body will not reject the foreign tissue. In a statement shared by the hospital, Slayman's family thanked the doctors. Their enormous efforts leading the xenotransplant gave our family 7 more weeks with Rick. And our memories made during that time will remain in our minds and hearts. Family said he was kind, quick-witted, and fiercely dedicated to his family, friends, and co-workers. After his transplant, Rick said that one of the reasons he underwent the procedure was to provide hope for thousands of people who need a transplant to survive. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Rick who did this whole thing to be a beacon of hope and then made it 2 months? You weren't a good beacon of hope, buddy. You were just another brick in the wall of failures along the organ transplant. Is it the organ transplant team? We've done this with pigs. Penn State's hospital has invested over $6 billion into turning a cow heart into a human heart. You know how many successfully have done, Pat? 0. Like, we know this doesn't work. Just put a robot in your chest or whatever. I don't know. Give my man some dialysis. Is it the family? You should be a little pissed off this hospital killed your dad. Pat will kick it.
Might be. We probably didn't talk to the family. They'd probably be pissed.
They put out a statement through the hospital, so that's good. But
those statements through hospitals can always be fudged around a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm sure they didn't talk to everyone, just the ones that weren't pissed.
Didn't talk to me.
Right.
So, Pat, who's the piece of shit in this story?
It's not our boy Rick Slayman. By the way, badass name. Richard, they are right to do that. Richard Slayman, not cool. Rick Slayman's the lead singer of a metal band that's just about to make it. You know what I mean? Rick Slayman, that is like cool. The Slayman, that's good stuff. Is it SLAY? It's not SLEIGH, right? It's not the Slayman. That'd be way worse if it was the Slayman. But Rick, there, I don't think he believed to be the beacon of hope. I think they named that afterwards. But Bobby, the only way you become a beacon of hope is by dying. Because if he lived, nobody would do this story. We wouldn't care. Because 2 months ago, Bobby, we were doing this podcast. And 2 months ago, you and I look for all kinds of crazy stories. And 2 months ago, there was no story about a man who got pig kidneys. So nobody gave a shit when he got the operation, but they cared when he died from it. So the only way to become the beacon of hope is to become the beacon of death so other people can have beacons of hope, I guess, in a way. Now, it's not the hospital for doing a pig thing. I mean, our friend of this show and former co-host Frank is having a pig part put in his heart today, I believe. And they've been doing that a bunch of times. That actually does work when it comes to the hearts and things for people like that. So I hope that works out well, and I hope he's not a beacon of hope like this. I hope he's going on for a long period of time being a beacon of mean to me and always saying fun stuff. So, but like he said, if one of the last conversations we had, I hope it's not the last conversation we had, but it'd be great. When I told him on Friday, he told me they had to move up his surgery, and I said, oh, great. And he goes, how's it going with you? And we were just chatting, and I said, well, I just got my license. It was that day. I got my license. He goes, good for you. I'm so fucking proud of you. I'll tell his wife, Nancy, goes, I'll tell Nancy to leave you my car if I die. And I go, dude, I don't want that. And he goes, the fuck? You don't like my car, you fucking piece of shit? I go, no, I don't want you to die, dude. He's like, you're the only guy I know to get mad. That part. I don't want the car for that reason. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like, so good luck to him first of all, and he is a beacon of hope to me. The piece of shit in this is the doctors who performed the surgery, because they really, really should have been blaming everyone more. It doesn't sound like there was if I was there, I'd come out and go, we didn't know this, but that pig had a drinking problem. Like, there should be so much they should be doing to slandering the pig whose kidneys were bad. Because I used to date someone back in the day. I used to date someone back in the day, a long time ago, and when they went to a hospital one time because they would drink a lot, that they were, the doctors were like, we're trying to get blood, but it seems odd. And the nurse said to me, and it's weird, do you know if she has any kind of like rare disease? Because she told us she doesn't drink, but her blood seems to be almost pickled because she lied. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. So they thought all this vodka, she was beyond drunk while this was happening. That's what she shut down. And so the doctors were like baffled because like, if she doesn't drink, why is her blood made of vodka? Like, what's going on here? And I had to tell the doctors she drank today. They're like, oh, thank God. Oh, all we have to do is an IV. And we thought we had to like bring in specialists. We didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Stop writing the paper. Turns out it was just another lying bitch.
Right. So I'm saying is, so if the pig was honest, you told everyone my kidneys are bad, I actually borrowed these from an aardvark earlier, then this never would have happened. So it's the doctors for not slandering the pig more, or the farmer, or the problem there, really make you hate the pig, so our boy Rick Slayman becomes more of the beacon of hope.
You know, I could see that. Or blame COVID. Say he was a Russia-Ukraine death.
You could say that has something to do with Hamas.
Yeah, the pro-Israel protesters got to him. Whatever you got to do to make the story work.
The pig used to be a slasher in New York.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's new.
I feel like we're going to talk about that next. But
you got that. I didn't go there, but you go right ahead.
No, I don't have it either. For me, the piece of shit in this story is actually, fuck, I lost it. I had a good one too.
Pigs, Slayman.
Oh, me. Yeah.
Oh,
fuck. Okay. You got to tell Frank I didn't know. I wouldn't have done this story if I had known what he was going through. Like, you got to convince him I didn't do this on purpose.
And it's not like I was supposed. It's not like he hasn't told people, but I probably didn't want the whole world knowing that. But that's all right. He's not watching this right now. But I love him, and I hope everything's okay. So no. And he doesn't think that was about him in any way. And also, Frank's stronger than any man named Rick Slayman, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the real piece of shit in this story is Rick Slayman.
Fuck Rick Slayman.
You got to make it at least a year, dog. If you're
he can't help when he dies.
Robinson, yes, you can. If you're going to be the Jackie Robinson of
pig, not the Jackie. Was he black? Was he black?
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Rick Slayman was black, and he got a pig heart. Oh, dude, he probably ate the heart then. Pig heart is the best one. It's me, Rick Slayman. I'm here for pig heart. It's delicious. You were supposed to eat it, dude. You're supposed to put it in your chest. He's like, oh, I ate it.
What's crazy though is this is kidney. This isn't even heart, big which kidney. Is like, it's just a big filter. You know, just give him some more dialysis.
That's his rap name, Pig Kidney. It's like, yo, it's me, Pig Kidney. The knee stands for Negro.
I'm dead, so R.I.P.
R.I.P. in the alley.
P stands for pig kidney.
Yeah, and peeing in the alley. I like that girl, VP. More like VP-ness.
Victoria Pearson.
I don't like that girl. I meant my character Rick Slavin like that girl. I hate peeing in the alley.
I'm gonna see if she's available to do the POS show next.
But then good. She can be Brandon. I'll take it down. We'll
How'd
get
it
the
go?
most views
Not
ever.
well,
But
Pat. We're married.
yeah, not well. We're married. You want to do a couple promotions quick? I'm gonna grab coffee real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the POS show. We do this show live on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time. It's always Pat. It's usually me. Occasionally, I'm tired and sleeping, and Brandon Bonanza bails me out, and you guys are happy. I would say if you enjoy this show, and even if you don't, just head over to the Patreon. That's POS, the Patreon, and subscribe there where you will get all this content. In addition to Tuesdays, we do a night show. Lately, we've been doing a Tuesday and a Thursday morning show that you would get access to there. Any fun stuff? Pat's got some projects in the works. I've got some projects in the works. Any of that stuff will be over there. That's the best way to support this pod. If you can't do that, like and share and tweet. The other thing is, if you want to see me, I've got some live dates coming up. I'll be at the EMA Theater in June at some point, and then I may be out seeing our good friend Patrick Oates up in Connecticut. I'll be in Bridgeport, Connecticut, his neck of the woods, July 14th, I believe. Pat, what do you got? Give the people your plugs while I eat this donut on camera.
You go eat this donut on camera. And Bobby, if you can still hear me while you're eating a donut, correct? Good. You don't have to say anything to this, but I had a thought this weekend. And this is something, another, as you said, project. This is something I'm thinking of putting together, but I do need, Bobby, your advice, and probably more than likely, if this happens, your help on this. I'm not someone who's big into like fanfare of things. Like I've never been a birthday person, stuff like that, all those kind of things. I just kind of like move on in life and stuff. But this October of this year, I will be 50 years old, and trying to think like, what if I wanted to do something like that? What would I want to do? And I think I want to do a birthday roast. I think I want to do something, and there's a location in mind I have in this area where I live, where I'd want to get comedians, obviously my podcast partner, people like that, radio personalities, things of that nature, to all be there and be part of this roast for my birthday. I think that'd be a fun thing, maybe give some money to charity or something like that, whatever. But doing a birthday roast of me would be like a fun time for something to do around that time. So I don't like the fact that I'm thinking of it. Therefore, I think about people will be like, "Oh, you're putting on your own roast." But I think that's the best way to do it, is to like plan it out that way, but then get the people involved and do whatever. And so, first of all, Bobby, do you think it's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea. I always like doing comedy on my birthday. It's one of the things I try to do. And 50 is a number where it's important. You want to remember that birthday. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the halfway point.
Well, I think people would, more importantly, I think people would care about a round number. You know what I mean?
But the other thing is, I like the idea of you getting the piss taken out of you on your birthday rather than everybody coming together and being like, "We love you. You're so great for 50 years." You know what I mean? Like letting them make fun of you is a good way to kind of not make it about you. If you were planning a whole giant extravaganza for your own birthday party, like if you were doing Sweet 16 at 50, I'd go, "Pat, you're being a little over the top." But the fact that it's like, come together, laugh, and make fun of me seems like a great time. I'm on board. Where would you want to do it?
You also know me enough to know that I'd want people on it that I know will like trash me. I'm gonna get good people on the show. This is my buddy Brian Alexander, is a young comic here in Connecticut, and he jumped on. So he's good. Thank you for not being a fat piece of shit and making it for once. You're not a fat piece of shit. You're a former troop, so thank you for your service, and thank you for waking up, you fat piece of shit. No, but happy you're here. And then subscribe to the podcast, all those fun things there too. Make sure you do that, share it with people. I know Bobby, you got on late, but next time you got to throw it on that Twitter, man. Your Twitter folks bring all the milkshake to the yard. My Facebook people are tired of my shit. Anyway, but thank everybody that's watching to pay attention so far. Join the Patreon, like Bobby said. Bobby, I've got an idea, and I think I want to say we'll get to the next story, but this is another idea for the content thing. Now, I do like doing the Tuesday show of the regular POS mornings, but I don't think we need 5 of them a week. I think with all the news stories we do and things we cover, I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday being live on YouTube for everybody is good. A Tuesday exclusive one is good. But I was thinking Thursday And this is a way, so because like last Thursday, because I went and got my driver's license and I had to run around doing it, I was not able to put out any content on Thursday. I was hoping to, just the day got behind me. I had to go do comedy afterwards. There's a lot going on. So because of that, I'm thinking that we do something, and this doesn't have to be just exclusive to you and me, but we can reach out to guests and fans like that too. We need to. We come up with a thing called Thursday Thoughts. And there's 3 thoughts that you, or even could be one big rant, whatever it is, or whatever thing. I like to do a couple thoughts, and we can do it live once in a while. If you, I want to do it and do it together, we can. But if not, we could get a guest, or you get yourself to do it, or me recording. And on Thursdays, there'll be a thing where we put our thoughts in, and people put their thoughts on that thing too. So kind of more like a little different thing, but like a rant, fun thing about things that are going on, but not so much have to be a POS story, but more of a focused thing your mind is on, something like that, a funny thing like that. But then like one time we can let like Brandon do one, let him go off, or other guests we had before. Maybe we can get speech impediment man to do a thought and record it and put it on there one time. By the way, if you haven't watched that episode yet, please go check that one out on the Patreon as well.
I was going to say,
that's a fun thing to do.
He just ranted.
Right, and I think that'd be a fun thing to go check it out there. So I'm thinking that's something we think about doing, maybe starting with this Thursday, but a fun different thing. But either way, there will be a content for that as well. So that being said, it's my turn for the news, right?
That idea a lot. I think that's a great idea. I also was thinking a lot over the weekend, but it wasn't about this.
Oh, good. Were you thinking at all about legendary comedians?
I would say the people I were thinking about, nobody would ever use the word legendary to describe them.
If you had the name, if I said to you, who is legendary? Who's the, not your Mount Rushmore, the Mount Rushmore, the American thought of the Mount Rushmore
of legendary comics? I think you would have Carlin, Pryor. Those 2 always come up. I think you would, if you could have like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Carlin. Tuesday, Thursday, it's Pryor head. Because it seems like people rotate those 2 in. I think you would see a Dave Chappelle as on there. I think you would see a Seinfeld.
There you go. Thank you for naming that name. Jerry Seinfeld in the news this weekend. Jerry Seinfeld's been in the news a lot recently.
Finally busted for fucking that 19 or for that fucking that 17-year-old with big titties. Jerry Seinfeld finally held to justice. It's amazing how he's the one who got away the whole fucking time. Not Josh Giddey, not P. Diddy, Jerry fucking Seinfeld. Good win for the comics.
Who all these minders were sleeping with? No, that's not. He doesn't even get in trouble with that at all.
Where is her birth certificate? What's the deal with asking for a birth certificate?
It's not his Pop-Tarts movie. It's not his take on how comedy sucks now that he had recently. It's none of that. Jerry Seinfeld booed by anti-Israel protesters who walk out of his Duke commencement speech. Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld was giving the commencement speech in Duke this weekend. Dozens of students walked out of the Duke University's commencement ceremony on Sunday to protest guest speaker Jerry Seinfeld over his support of Israel during the war in Gaza. First of all, and I will read the whole article, but like, I've never really understood protests. I mean, I understand why people think they need to do them. They never work out. You know what I mean? You know,
we said it on last Wednesday. People just want a reason to not be in school.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right now, Columbia Law School is pushing to get all of the students who failed their classes, everybody just gets A's. That's what the law school is pushing right now. Like, yes, I was one of those kids who was like, they're going to let us out of this? I could say I was at a protest.
But imagine getting mad that Jerry Seinfeld has a different opinion than you. Like, let's see, we just named the top 4 guy, but all 3 other guys you named all were known for their opinions, their stances. Seinfeld has no opinion. Like, yeah, he does. He wants to know what the deal is with airplane food, but that's about it. I don't know if that's really his stance. He just wants to know the deal.
Yeah, and it's Duke in North Carolina. What are you doing? I'm sorry. I'm skipping ahead, Pat. Please finish.
No, you're fine. Because I was just watching, if you've seen it, it's on Netflix now, the I Hate Christian Laettner documentary. And they break down the very beginning about how Duke is looked at in North Carolina. Because every other school has a mention of North Carolina or the reason it's there in some way. Wake Forest being about the religious people that started that area in there and being named that. The North Carolina State having the name in there. The Tar Heel meaning somebody from that area, like the blue collar, hardworking people of North. All the names were that, and then Duke is just like basically an Ivy League school that was thrown into the South. And most of the people that go there and things are a lot from like Connecticut and New Jersey and New York and, in rich parts of LA. It's not really people from there anyway. So it's kind of funny that of all those schools, if you go down south, you're like, why is Seinfeld down south? He's not Jeff Foxworthy's the Seinfeld of down south. Why isn't he there? But he wouldn't do that. He'd do NC State. You know what I mean? By the way, Jeff Foxworthy.
Easy. Some of us have siblings who graduated from NC State. They're not the Jeff Foxworthy of those three schools.
By the way, when I say that, I was about to just say to you, I don't fucking shit on Jeff Foxworthy at all. I think Jeff Foxworthy, if you really think about it, as much as we name the guys we love and stuff, Jeff Foxworthy, if there was two Mount Rushmores, you talk about amount of money made, popularity, all those. He's up there. That guy is a legendary comedian. I mean, thought of by a lot of people in this country as one of the greatest of all times. Just not the
all
style
kidding
that we
aside,
like.
he probably would have been one of my fourth.
Right. I mean, it's just who would you knock off? That's the hard thing, but it's very tough. To be honest, Seinfeld has to be there. He is, but I wouldn't go back like George Burns and shit like that. But then I would also definitely go Carl and I guess right now, it wouldn't because he's considered younger in it. Chappelle wouldn't be there right now, but he will be when he's done. You know what I mean? But like that kind of thing. And I know Seinfeld's not done, but he's done. But anyway, back to his dumb thing.
Especially after Duke and the shit he pulled there.
Yeah. Maybe he'll knock him off after this. Video of the incident shows a group of students walking out of their seats and carrying a Palestinian flag as soon as the comedian and TV star was called to the stage. The attention of the protesters was quickly diverted by the cheering crowd who chanted Jerry, Jerry, which, by the way, wrong Jerry chant.
Not his
That's
thing.
not him. No. That's
Stop
Springer,
stealing my culture.
Yeah, that's once again, Duke's trying to be NC Staters. What are you doing? You can't do the wrong thing. NC Staters like, fuck you. You don't even know which Jerry it is. Get the fuck out of here. As Seinfeld would go on to give his speech and accept an honorary degree from Duke. Oh, man, I hope he gets in trouble for raping ladies or he gets his taken away like Cosby did. That's always fun when they just take away.
He already has, and they haven't taken.
No, they got married. It's fine. While Seinfeld appeared to receive support from the majority of the crowd, once the cheers eased up, several boos and shouts of "Free Palestine" could be heard erupting through. You think he's like, "Free Palestine? Nothing's free. You got to pay for Palestine. You get it. Free Palestine. How is it free? Free melons? They're melons. They're free. Palestine costs money."
What's the deal with these stinky Muslims wanting everything for free? You know what's free? Showers. Deodorant. Use some, you stinky motherfuckers.
Holy shit. Imagine if he called them stinky Muslims. Why are they stinky Muslims? They can bathe. Be clean Muslims. Muzzy. That's a thing.
You ever notice how you've never seen a Muslim having a good time? He just goes in.
Why is it a burqa? They're warm. Bird. That's cold. It should be warmka.
Remember when you said you wouldn't forget? What's the deal with forgetting?
Who forgets? How do you forget when they say never forget? Always remember. How about that one? That's better.
I love Islamophobic Seinfeld. What's the deal with these goat fuckers on my island?
Islamophobic. Is that sin bad or sin good? I don't know.
Right. They're all bad.
Sinbad, was he a genie in the movie? I don't remember. I think it's a thing. It's a thing. Well, okay. I wish we were there at this.
We would have saved Seinfeld.
Are they protesting this? Are they into it? I don't know what's going on.
Those two are the man. Give them a degree.
Seinfeld has been vocal over his support for the Jewish state following Hamas' brutal October 7th massacre that killed more than 1,200 people and kidnapped another 252. The comedian also met with families of the hostages and visited a kibbutz. I don't know what a kibbutz is. What's a kibbutz?
Isn't that like a hostel?
Oh, it's not too hostile. They were friendly. Kibbutz. Kibbutz and Kamudo. destroyed by the terror attack during a trip to Israel in December. Seinfeld, however, opted to steer clear of the war during his speech at Duke and instead told students to embrace hard work and what they love as they move forward in the next major steps of their lives. Find someone where you love the good. I won't do the voice. Find something where you love the good parts and don't mind the bad parts too much. The torture you're comfortable with, the comedian joked. This is the golden path to victory in life. The golden path, like the girl in the alley earlier.
That should be the name of our new stream. Streaming the golden path.
Yeah. Work, or an R. Kelly new album when he comes back out, The Golden Path. That'd be good. Work, exercise, relationships, he added, they all have a solid component of pure torture. And they're all 1,000% worth it. Jews, they know how to count. 1,000% is not a thing. The walkout was the only disruption to the commencement ceremony, with no other incident taking place during or after Seinfeld's speech. The animus Seinfeld faced at Duke was not the first time he was targeted by protesters over his support for Israel. In February, Seinfeld was heckled by a group of protesters after leaving an event in the Upper East Side where demonstrators called him a genocide supporter. I didn't know if he had a fun genocide supporter joke, but anyway.
What's the deal with picking a side? What if I want to genocide them all?
Why is the genocide? Why can't it be Jenna front or Jenna back? Jenna middle, that's right.
My Jenna back, my Jenna pussy, and my Jenna crack.
Don't be mad at the Jews with the rocks. Just be mad at genocide from the block. Oh, it's like...
Did you ever notice how Muslims get real mad when you're giving a speech, but don't make a ruckus when their leader's fucking a 9-year-old? What's the deal with that? What's the deal with your religious icon being married to a 9-year-old? And he just goes in. We've done it.
What's the deal with the word ruckus? It sounds like why are you making a ruckus if you're Jewish? That's the noise you make when you verklempt. Ruckus, that's the noise you make.
You know what happens when you bring the ruckus? I'm from New York. I'll bring Wu-Tang Clan on you Muslim motherfuckers.
The Beastie Boys were the Jewish Wu-Tang Clan. Let's discuss it.
I'm just saying, you gotta fight for your right to party.
And who parties less than the Jews?
The Muslims.
I can see why no one watches us. Seinfeld, however, opted
We're killing it, dude.
Seinfeld, however, opted to steer clear of the war during his speech at Duke, and instead, I already got that part. Find something you love with the good parts, and don't mind the bad parts too much. The torture you're comfortable with. Oh, did we had all that? Oh, it skipped back. On Saturday, students also held a walkout at Virginia Commonwealth University during a commencement ceremony addressed by Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. In the University of California, Berkeley, students stalled their own ceremony as they waved Palestinian flags in the middle of the stadium. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it the students for doing protests at their own commencement speech? I understand they want their voice heard. I don't think they really understand what things are about. I know there were a lot of interviews with a lot of protesters that a lot of people put out recently, and they were asking them actual questions about the details of all these things going on and guys and all those things like that. And they really didn't have any information. A lot of them are doing it, like you said, Bobby, for the sake of doing it, being part of something. A lot of them are doing it to get laid. A lot are doing it for attention. Some may have real intentions. Either way, and me saying, is this the right time and place? So they would tell you the right time and place is the place where people are paying attention. And if there's a huge celebrity like Jerry Seinfeld there, that might be the place to do it, especially if he's the one protesting. But is it them? Because for them thinking they protest because Jerry Seinfeld's a supporter, that will get people to listen, because Jerry Seinfeld is not a leader of anything besides just like clean comedians. Like, and they don't really have opinions anyway. So is he the piece of shit? Is Jerry Seinfeld the piece of shit for having hard opinions on things when you're a comedian? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't also be a person, but at the same day, I always tell young comics this when I watch them doing political humor. You can, but do both sides. Make sure you're not dividing your audience. At the end of the day, unless you're going to be Bill Maher or something, or Jon Stewart or something of that nature, and even Jon Stewart can make fun of both things to a degree. He still leans one side or the other. You have to have such a following to be able to divide people. So if not, Just make jokes about things and situations that people can both laugh, both sides can get it and understand it, but not be like you feel like you're doing hate towards it. And for Jerry Seinfeld to have a hard opinion, so nothing wrong with doing that, but then you got to pull back from the comedy part. And you have to expect things like this when you go and speak and teach people about hard work, when in reality, yes, Jerry, you are one of the greatest comedians of all time, and you have put in a lot of work for comedy. But when you tell a coal miner about hard work, it's kind of hard when you're like, I had to go to like 4 mics on Thursday. You know, it's like I had to really work this. I made a Pop-Tart movie. I made a Bee movie. And I made one TV show. Besides that, I've been in my car with friends. I really haven't done a ton of shit. You know what I mean? Like, he did perform a lot, but he hasn't done a ton.
Most of the TV show.
Yeah. That's the thing too. Larry David, a Jew, he made the show. It was the best character was him, not even me. The other one said the N-word. By the way, that's not even a story I got to, but I know this. Jerry Seinfeld said when he has a new project coming out, definitely has Michael Richards on board. He's like, he had one mistake a while back. You guys can't let it go.
Hey, good for Jerry.
Good for Jerry. Good for Kramer.
No, I mean, it's definitely good for Kramer, but my point is, like, he could just write him off, but his point is, all right, he's paid his dues.
Right. It's the piece of shit Duke University. If you're going to have a speaker be at your commencement speech, for real, even if you're like psyched and said, oh, we'll get Jerry Seinfeld, we'll give us thing, and I get it, you want to have somebody like that seems super cool. Maybe pay attention to their political backgrounds and things they say. You should pay attention to that. It is something representing your school, because by hiring him to do that, you are kind of saying that we feel this way or that way, or we support this side or the other. You are saying that by having them come there. So should they pay attention to that? Or is it Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Cherokee Parks, and all the other white men that used to play for Duke who are probably relieved that now they're not the most hated guys in that campus for a little while? Who's the piece of shit in the story?
Oh, there are several pieces of shit. Let's start with the fact anybody who's attending these protests to get laid, it's much easier. Just convert to real Islam. Then they don't have a choice. Like, you don't have to pretend to be Islamic, become really Islamic, and then you can get laid pretty much anytime you want at your beck and call, or you can cut your wife's head off. That's kind of how they operate. Also, it's Seinfeld. Why did you take this? You're a comedian. Pat, I'm talking not intentionally, just instinctually. The minute you got heckled at a show, you're putting the guy down. It's second nature. Even if you're going to a weekend and you go, all right, my goal is for all the early shows, I'm doing just material. The minute somebody sexes up, you're going to call him the flannel fag. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to get into it.
I don't know if that's the term.
It was the term Friday. But you get my point. The other piece of shit, what was the Virginia governor's name? Vince Youngking?
Yeah.
No king of mine takes that shit. Send in the troops. Should have called yourself Young Kang. I bet they would have been a little nicer. Like that guy who chased that woman down, or ran away from that woman who was beating him up, and then they took all of his Marvel movies away.
Yes. To me, the piece of shit is Jerry Seinfeld. And not even so much, not for taking the gig. You don't need it. You don't need a gig at all. I know they probably paid you really well too. That guy's not doing shit for free. He took the gig. He got the money. He also asked for an honorary doctorate. He didn't earn shit from Duke University in any way. Why does he need extra accolades? What, to say call himself a doctor at one point? Now he can be Dr. Jerry Seinfeld. Why does he need all that? For having hard opinions, for doing all that. Just tell your fucking observational goofball jokes. You know what I mean? That's what you are. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. As a comedian, do I respect all the work you put in and the things you've done and the show you put on and how funny you are? Of course I do. You're an amazing comic. You've made the world laugh. But I don't ever think that people give a fuck about my opinions because I tell jokes. The fact that he's, wants to talk to the children about working hard. He might have gone to college. I don't even know that backstory of him, but most comedians that succeed don't go to college. So he's giving a speech saying, work hard, you go through the torture, all this and that, but he didn't even do what they did. They've already spent so much more money and put more focus to a thing where he's like, I did the opposite and I became more rich and famous than any of you will ever fucking become. It's almost like belittling in a way. Yeah, you guys do your nice little thing, but I'm better than you. And then on top of that being like, here's my opinion on a thing and happening in another country that shouldn't I be talking about at all at this point, especially when there's so much protesting things going on. Maybe tell these kids, hey, all that energy, whatever side you're on, kids, this side or that side, whatever. Maybe our opinions are disagree, but the fact that you have passion, use that passion. That passion you have, use that to find the things you love. Build it that way. Don't say something then not address it there. If you're gonna be ballsy enough to put your name out there and say that when kids are protesting, then you guess you gotta talk about it. But would that ruin the commencement? Of course it would. Almost like you shouldn't fucking be there. It's not Duke's fault. Duke was going for famous people. They got you. The guy, old white men run that place. They're not paying attention to politics and opinions. They should be, but they're just like, oh, maybe Jerry will be able to donate something and give us another wing for something. We can have a comedy theater named after Jerry Seinfeld now. That's all they care about is money and donations. So it's Seinfeld for taking the gig. He's a piece of shit.
Listen, students, this is Duke University, okay? We are a proud, classy establishment. If you want to take that hip hop bullshit, you go over to Duquesne University.
Oh, take that, Duke.
They got a Q in their name. You make up a great point, though. I think in all honesty, Seinfeld could have turned this into a positive pro-commencement speech and been like, great, that's what makes America beautiful. Let's take that energy and turn it into something of your own, and then someday you'll have a platform like this where you can come out and put your opinion out there, too. It's a lot easier to just shit on what other people are doing than do your own thing. You know what I mean? Like the real argument could be instead of going out and making noise at that protest, why didn't they start a talk show? You know what I mean? Why are they at home free on that night?
Right. But yeah, it really is one of those things where they could have been like, we could have a discussion another time. But this time, what makes us different than everybody else is no other country would be allowed for me to have my opinion or your opinion, so us still share a common ground and talk about it and do the thing we're doing. We'd be forced to all have one opinion. We have all this, but instead doesn't do anything about it when he's there. And just kind of like, oh, whatever, when they walk out. No, address them. They're not hecklers at a comedy show. This is their graduation. They, no matter how you feel about it, made the decision to not go and walk or do whatever or sit through this thing that they were going to sit through and do this. I'm sure their parents are upset that they're not getting their diplomas because they're probably not going to walk out. If you storm out, you're not going up there and walking. The whole thing, the people and family are there. Now you're not doing that because Seinfeld's there. Seinfeld didn't teach you a class at Duke. It has nothing to do with Duke.
I would imagine a lot of single moms disappointed.
I don't think many single moms have their kids going to Duke.
Oh,
unless they're playing for the basketball team. I think those guys did not protest.
No, they were still recruited by Coach K. He wouldn't have tolerated that horse shit. But right. That's my biggest piece of shit that you just revealed to me. Anybody who was excited to go to their commencement.
What? Why?
Why do you want to be there? It's boring. I mean, I fake graduated and I didn't want to be there.
I never walked in anything ever, so
my grandpa was dying, so if you signed up to take the classes, you could walk, and it made it seem like you graduated, but then you never actually got your diploma, and then you finish your degree later. A lot of schools do that, but
at high school they weren't sure. I was 3 credits short still, and they short to do with me till afterwards. So I got to sit there, be there, and I had a gown on, but they didn't call my name. I never walked up and got a diploma.
Wait, you not even high school?
No, I've never walked.
I mean, I've seen you walk. It's not pretty.
Walk for the ceremony walk, not the fucking walk.
You hanging out?
Walk. The Chinese like walks. You like walks. All people take walks.
What were you doing? Walking down the street and a fucking YouTube streamer hit you with her car and you're like, I'll never walk. Are you peeing? Why are you peeing? For the love of God, stop.
I was walking. I looked down. There was extra footsteps. It was a Jew. Oh, my Jesus.
You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe women shouldn't drive. Maybe these fuzzy muzzies are onto something.
Oh, walking in Memphis. That was a guy walking away from a Jew. They're not in Memphis. All right, do you have a story?
I sure do, buddy. Have you heard of the Pacers Pushers?
Are they fans of the Indiana Pacers?
Well, I mean, that would make sense, but they're a little bit more than that, Pat. There's a group of Englishmen who found themselves located in Indiana and have become soccer-style hooligans for the Indiana Pacers.
Nice.
The biggest story right now is because of what they did outside of the hotel where the Knicks were staying, they were banned from the stadium. They've gone, they get season tickets, they have their own section. They were planning for game 4 to try to smuggle in one of those big signs like you see at the soccer games, like that mocks a player. But apparently they were out singing hooligan-style songs outside of the Knicks hotel at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning to the point where the Knicks organization contacted the Pacers and we're like, please ban these pushers from your games. The lyrics that got him into trouble was Jalen Brunson, his mother's a cunt son. You have to do it with a British accent, but I don't do it.
You just do the words.
Yeah, I was just quoting.
You won't do the accent. That's where I draw the line. I'll say the worst word of all times, or the second worst word of all times, but I won't say, but I won't do it with an accent. You won't get me there.
I know the rules. So who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the Knicks fans? I mean, let's be honest. You've moved to a new area. When you moved to Boston, you leaned into being a Yankees fan because it was kind of what brought you close to home, right?
Oh no, I was already a Yankee. That was even worse. I was already a Yankee fan. My dad made us lean into being Mets fans because they were playing them in the World Series. So he bought us Mets jackets. We weren't. We kind of went to Met games too, but he was like, he hates Boston so much. The jackets he bought for us for the winter were Mets jackets.
That's
like we had to wear them.
But is it them for turning their English culture and trying to bring it to American sports, right? Other than Penn State student section, like there isn't a ton of that level of we're going to affect the game these days. Is it Jalen Brunson? Come on, man.
Well,
They called your mother the C word and you didn't drop 99 points on these guys. It would have been the first 100-point performance in NBA history if somebody called my mother a cunt. Now, would I have had to hire somebody to score 100 points? Probably, because I'm 5'6" and fat. But I would have figured out a way to dominate that team. Is it the Pacers? The Knicks had Spike Lee screaming at Reggie Miller. You let your fucking hooligans in. Anything you can to win. I would have given them free tickets for life if they irritated the Knicks so much. Or is it the Knicks for whining like a bunch of pussies? Pat, we'll kick it to you first.
Well, I'm assuming that the piece of shit is you because this is a made-up story. This is not the real story. Yep. This is not real.
Not real.
No, because want to know why? Because of the song. If you change the wording, you went too Bobby on the song. If you changed the words and you did it like a bloke or a wank, like, a wanker or something like that, I might have gotten it. But Brunson, I know your mind. You heard Brunson. You've been thinking that rhyme.
No. You want to know the honest? All right, we'll break the fourth wall. This is the fake story. What happened was I was on Facebook scrolling through where I found out about the Taipei Revolution, which influenced a great new joke of mine. I've been killing with it. But then I saw a Liverpool chant where they called somebody a cunt son, and I was like, that rhymes with Jalen Brunson.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, it was based on something else or whatever. But, like, the Knick fans themselves, the MSG fans, are so fired up. It's one of the best environments there could be. The Knicks aren't bothered by that. The Knicks are bothered by the fact that their bench is depleted. They've got no big guys, and what they've done so far is amazing. Now I hope they don't completely choke this entire series. Now that they're up 2-0, I think home teams will end up getting their wins. I do think they'll make it next round and play against the Celtics. I think the Celtics might be a little too much for them. I hope not. I hope the Knicks can do some things. I don't even know if they're going to get out of this now because the way they're down 2-0. But you know what would have made them play better? Especially having those guys who are like a Brunson guy who does like that kind of shit talk and stuff like that. OG, who's been through way worse, that stuff. You've got our Villanova connection. They've had to deal with crap always being called kind of the gay school of the East, whatever, and all that. So they understand how to deal with adversity and stuff like that. But so they would have overcame. So the piece of shit to me is anyone who ever lived in England and then moved to Indiana. What the fuck? Why would you ever do that? You want to talk about culture shock? Like at first they'd be like, wait, it's the same kind of pasty white people that we know. It's the same kind of thing. But then they would look and go, wait a minute, their teeth are shitty, just like ours. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they would go, wait a minute, what's this? NASCAR? Oh God, we're in hell. This is terrible. And then they would move away. Then they go, we're here for Caitlin Clark. They'd be the fever fuckers. They wouldn't be the pacer pushers. They'd be the fever fuckers because they would love Caitlin Clark.
Well,
she looks like their king. She looks just like King Charles.
My logic was they liked eating out French women, and they're like, there's a place called French Lick. I'm moving there.
Oh, I don't think they like eating out French women.
Nobody does. They don't use deodorant or shave.
No. They have penises.
I call that the Forbidden Forest.
Oh, boo. What's the deal with forests being forbidden? They're not forbidden. You can't bite one for 4 times. That doesn't make sense.
For me, the piece of shit in this story is the Sixers. If they hadn't gotten rid of Pat Beverly, we would never be hearing about this story because he would have shut down that Brunson fag.
Jeez, okay. What's going on with you? You okay?
I had a rough weekend. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, Jesus Christ. All right. I'll do one more story. I saved one for you. I don't know if I want to do this story, but I think it's such a story for you. We should do it. So I give you the choice. The story that I feel like 100% speaks to you, or a story of a famous person getting punched in New York.
I feel like a lot of people might be talking about that famous person getting punched in New York today. So let's do the one specially catered for me.
You're like, I would not want to draw any attention to our show like other shows get attention for a thing. Let's go with the thing no one gives a fuck about. Okay. By the way, for those of you who want to know, if people will say it tomorrow, it's Steve Buscemi. He got punched in New York, but whatever. Okay. Bobby, I saw this on, so it was the 9th. So I saw this and it made me think of you.
Aw.
How to find out if a woman is a psychopath. There's one obvious tell, experts say.
God damn it.
This seems to be something you talk about all the time, and there it is. She could be a real head case. Want to know the difference between a woman and a not-so-great personality and a complete psychopath? New research reveals that ladies have one obvious tell to separate sometimes sour sweeties from their seriously psycho, whether they move their heads when they talk. Yeah, that's the tell. If they move their heads when they talk. Nonverbal behaviors, i.e. head dynamics, it's known as, represent an important yet understudied form of communication that may enhance our abilities to detect certain forms of psychopathology, including psychopathy, said study authors from the University of New Mexico. Then they just showed a picture of a woman that looks nuts. I don't even know who she is. Here's a picture of someone who looks nuts. Using an automated detection algorithm, the research team determined that women who hold their heads perfectly still or with minimal movement while in conversation possess high levels of psychopathic propensities. So it's not what you thought it was. If you move your head like a sassy black woman, you're fine. But if you're like still as fuck, you're nuts. Here, we utilize an automated technique to detect, track, and analyze head position and dynamics in relation to psychopathic traits in a sample of incarcerated women. So they did go after women already in jail. So they already got like their plum. They just go random women. They went nuts already. For their findings, analysts assessed the nonverbal tendencies of 213 female inmates. The participants ranged in age from 21 to 57 and were detained at a medium and maximum security correctional facility in the U.S. Researchers define psychopathic traits such as combination of interpersonal dysfunctions such as manipulation, pathological lying, callousness, lack of remorse, impulsivity, irresponsibility, and criminal versatility. So like all the things that Bobby looks for in a woman usually.
Yeah, my wheelhouse is what we call that in baseball terms.
Yes. Then they showed another picture of someone being nuts.
Is it
investigate
any of these pictures people we know by any chance?
No, it's not, but it really is. It just looks like they took a random picture of like those stock footage, and these people don't even know they're being used for this. I think they'll be real upset when they find out they're in this. The investigators observed video recorded interviews of each gal in the study. By the way, they used gal, which I don't know if that's what you're supposed to be writing in the article.
I like they used the same sarcastic term I use when I describe certain people who have a penis and pretend to be women. This gal? Yeah. And you move your head when you say it, so they know you're not a psychopath. You go, this gal?
Well, you know what gal stands for, right? Guy? All right, lady. I'll give you that. The head position was extracted frame by frame with the interviews. The average head position was calculated using the spatial information from all extracted frames. Head positions in each shot were categorized in one of the three identified movement partitions: minimal, moderate, and extreme movement. The less movement, the more psychopathic. The probe also included a hair, H-A-R-E, not H-A-I-R, hair psychopathy checklist, revised exam, a common assessment developed in the 1970s by Canadian psychologist Robert D. Hare. The 20-item checklist measured participants' antisocial tendencies from 1 to 40. The lower the score, the better. Folk earning a score of 30 or higher are considered psychopathic. Dudes aren't in the clear. The eerie findings line up with previous studies of imprisoned men, which found that males who steady their noggins are often psychos too. But surprisingly, lady loons, dude, I didn't make that one up. Lady loons
My man,
are
who
more
wrote this? Is
common
this a
than
Cost
most
article?
would think. What? You know what? I'll have to look. It probably is a Cost article. Clive Body, an Angelia Ruskin University professor who specializes in corporate psychopathy, recently suggested that female psychopaths likely go unnoticed due to social gender bias. A professor of psychology also chimed in. Oh, I just lost the whole article. My phone just went nuts and started shaking its head. Suggests that guys with inexplicable affinities for their obnoxiously noisy, clunky cars are far more likely to be certifiable too. A desire for a loud car with a modified muffler is predicted by being a man with higher scores of psychopathy and sadism. So please threw that one in there too. So, who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it anyone that would do a study just to go, hey, you want to know why women are nuts? Because it's first of all, what happened? What happened to that one scientist where he's like, hey, I know we're supposed to be figuring out cancer and like, if we can try to feed poor people where they can't grow plants and stuff like that. No. Bitches be nuts, right? Let's do a study and see which kind so we can try to not get away from them again. Because obviously someone left me. By the way, not by Ben Cost, Asia Grace, who's written some things before, but still kind of shocked it's like that way. Is it Asia Grace for writing this article? She did go mostly with the women part, but yes, at the end was like, by the way, men are nuts too because their cars are loud, whatever. But is it incarcerated people? Because to me, when you're incarcerated and you get interviewed, you're stepping it up a notch. Most time when you watch all those shows, they're never like being normal. They're trying to be more crazy. And what do they think? They think intense. They think Anthony Hopkins, right? That's their muse when they're being interviewed. So what did Anthony Hopkins do? He stood very still. And he sat like this. But in reality, they'd be like this all the time, too. Are you telling me that means that people with Parkinson's or multiple sclerosis can't be crazy? Because their heads are going all the time. They can still be crazy. I don't know. It works all the time. Is it people who care about this and read this and take it seriously? Like you will, Bobby. You will now. I know you. You will now talk to women. And if their heads are still, you'll be like, bye, bitch.
No, the opposite. I'll be like, hey, honey, you want to fuck up my life? Daddy needs some new jokes.
I guess the Bobby's new saying is the stiller the head, the better the head.
Yeah, you just
thing there.
Hold still and let me fuck it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who's the piece of shit? Or is it Bobby for that sentence? Who's the piece of shit in this story? Jesus Christ.
For me, it's that Hare fella. Robert Hare.
Richard Hare or Dick Hare? No, it was Robert Hare. It wasn't Dick.
It was Robert Hare, yeah. Robert Hare, to be clear. So I've also developed a system. It's called Robert Tamburro's system.
It wasn't Robert Hare. It was D was the middle initial. It wasn't there. It was the last name was Hare. So no, it was Robert D. Hare.
Okay, so Robert D. Tamburro has a system, and we still use the same if you get above a 30, you're a psychopath, but the one change between the two systems is if you say you're a woman, you start at plus 29. If you say you're a man, you start at negative 100.
Jesus.
So here's the thing. This whole article is bullshit. The idea of a psychopath in general is kind of hotly contested within the psychological community. Like it's not really... It's become more of a public vernacular term than it has a scientific diagnosis. Like it's kind of the same as autism, where it's a broad diagnosis with a lot of things fitting into it. So sure, maybe moving your head makes you not a psychopath, but you know what would make you even more of a psychopath? If you read this article and then you started moving your head, because that's what actual psychopaths would do. We need to find a way to tell the non-psychopaths how to read who is a psychopath without any crossover. It's called mimicking. So for me, the piece of shit is Asia and Robert Hare. Why are you doing a study we already know?
Oh, I forgot for a second that Asia Grace was the writer. I'm like, all of Asia?
I mean, yes, but not for this story.
I was like, Bobby is throwing in some Asian hate out of nowhere. All of Asia and in that.
No.
It's not Asia hate. Listen, you know what? That article, what she wrote, she did her job. That made. I'm sure that got a lot of
You know what?
clicks.
Let me clarify though. And the reason why Asia is a piece of shit, in addition to that, is I've only ever met one Asia in my life. Have you, Pat, ever met a girl named Asia?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. She's probably her ancestors are probably not from Asia.
No, that's just a stripper name that they didn't think would be a real one.
Right, but my point is, I'm guessing Asia is a black woman. That's the Asia I knew, and who moves their head when they talk more than anybody else.
Black women?
Yeah, so here's what I think went down. I think Asia was in a date with her Mexican boyfriend who didn't treat her right, and she was like, "Oh, I'm a psychopath." No, this study says if you move your head a bunch, you're not a psychopath, but if you have a loud ass rice burner, you are. And it was just her way of being like, "You're the psychopath. I'm not the psychopath." Because I would never know anybody who would write news articles trying to gaslight somebody in a relationship. That'd be crazy. Somebody just went around writing fake news articles.
I'm going to quickly send you a picture of Asia Grace.
Is she white?
To let you know if you're right or wrong. Bobby is more right than wrong most times. And Bobby got it correct here. Asia Grace, not a white woman. But
I thought for a second you were just inviting me to see Tyler Perry's new Medea movie. For those of you watching along at home.
I don't think Asia's the piece of shit. I think she did a good job writing that article because it's something that got people's attention. I think it's anyone who believes this study. Like Bobby said, this is not the way you find out if someone's a psychopath. We are trying to do it, to try to find a tell for something like that is crazy. First of all, there's not as many of those out there that we think. We don't need a tell. It's kind of like when you're
we do need a tell. We need a tell to tell us how women are crazy.
David
has 2 X chromosomes. Yeah. Here's my recorder.
But those titties aren't psychopathic.
Them titties ain't psychopathic.
We keep looking for tells in things that aren't really that much. Like people nowadays that are like, well, you gotta pay attention to your kids when they're 3, and if it's a boy who wants to wear a dress, he obviously wants to be a lady, so let's cut his dick off and make him a lady. Like, no, don't look for a tell. Just let them figure out what they're doing. Psychopaths will let you know by being a psychopath. You're not going to stop a psychopath no matter what anyway. Look for the tells all you want. You're not going to stop before it happens. Psychopaths will be psychopaths. It's like 1%, 2% of the whole world, psychopaths. You know what I mean? There are some that have some tendencies, but full-on psychopaths, why are we looking for that? How about, look for other tells? People that are going to understand there's only 2 genders. Look for that tell. Not to talk to the other one. That'd be a good time. Figure that one out.
Look for more universally acceptable tells.
Yeah.
Like hitting somebody with a car during a live stream and peeing in an alley.
Yeah.
That's a real tell. Somebody who does that's a real not
psycho, but definitely socio. That's your tell.
Yeah.
If somebody has a live stream of them just driving their car, they might not be somebody you want to trust with stuff. They're not going to care about other people's feelings. They're a sociopath. That is a live tell right there. Not shaking your head when you're talking to inmates who don't want to seem wild and crazy because they're in jail and don't want to get in more trouble. Yeah. They're not going to. And by the way, why are we trying to find out a tell for psychopaths in jail? We already got them. What's the tell? We already know they're kind of nuts. They're in jail.
Yeah.
That's not helping. That helps no one.
Not at all. This whole study is disgusting.
So all I want to say is thank you everybody for watching today.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe, baby. Child. But yes, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Please let other people know about it. Tomorrow morning we'll be on the Patreon for the show there. So please join if you're not already joined. A little $3 a month, so you can watch the live show there. If not, we're back on Wednesday. We'll have a guest on Wednesday. Buddy AJ, who has a wrestling podcast and used to be a comedian, all that kind of stuff. He'll be joining us as well on Wednesday. So we'll have fun with that one. And then, of course, Tuesday night, we'll do our 8 p.m. show. So join us again tomorrow morning or tomorrow night on the YouTube as well. Bobby, you got anything else you want to say?
Just
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Scott. We didn't, not a lot of commenters today. If someone can figure out the V situation, let me know. We want to get him back there. We really enjoy V. So thank you for those who jumped in today. Nah, Bobby, sorry.
you have two choices when you wake up every morning. You can either spread joy and look for the good things in life, or you could spread your misery. Choose wisely, and don't be a piece of shit.
What's up with misery?